Hey everybody, I just want to invite you to the Joy Factory today and tell you about an amazing opportunity. So many people around the world have helped us put wonderful things in Jessie's Joy Jar by making donations and sending toys and stuff into the Joy Factory here so we can make these wonderful Joy Jars for children fighting cancer. This map represents all the children around the United States and around the world that we've been able to reach with one of Jessie's Joy Jars. Over 123,000 so far. But one of the things that Jess loved was wearing beanies. Unfortunately, due to some of the treatments that she went through, she lost her hair. And so having a beanie kind of gave her confidence back, and it helped her feel good when she was outside. In addition, it kept her warm. So we've created what's called Brave Beanies. And they are done and made by amazing volunteers that know how to knit and stitch and do all kinds of wonderful designs of these beanies. And every beanie that gets sent here to the Joy Factory gets placed in one of Jessie's Joy Jars. And so boys and girls, all different sizes, they're just incredible. They're soft, they're brand new, and they're just so important for us to go into Jessie's Joy Jars. And so my hope is that you would join us, and that you would either learn how to make a beanie, which you'll learn about, but also you might want to grab some friends and maybe have a party and have a Brave Beanie building party and just make a bunch of beanies, knowing that you're going to help a child fighting cancer in a very, very special way. So no matter what, if you just end up sharing this video with a friend or you end up doing this yourself, thank you. Thank you for helping us carry on Jessie's wish of every kid getting a Joy Jar and putting a special beanie inside.
Thanks, Eric. We are so excited to be sharing with you how to make a loom beanie as a Brave Beanie project with you. This project is a great way to spread some joy and love to kids fighting cancer, and it is so easy. Krista will demonstrate each of the steps to making your loom beanie, and at the end, we will give you directions on how to send your beautiful beanie to us here at the Joy Factory, so that we can put them in one of Jessie's Joy Jars to send to kids fighting cancer all over the world. But first, let's talk about the supplies you will need. To make your Brave Beanie using a loom, you will need a ball of yarn, scissors, and a loom kit, which includes a circular loom, a hook, and a yarn needle. Kits can be found at local craft stores such as Michael's, Joann's Fabric, or Hobby Lobby. Please don't forget to use one of their coupons that they offer on their mobile phone apps or on their website. Places like Amazon and other online merchants also carry the loom kits at discounted prices. Now, with all your supplies in hand, let's get started. Grab your loom, make a slip knot, and attach it to the small peg. This is the anchor peg on the outside of the loom. Hold the loom in your left hand. While holding the yarn in your right hand, wrap the yarn in a counterclockwise wrap around each peg, moving in a clockwise fashion around the loom. Continue until you have wrapped each peg once. Do not wrap too tightly. Push down the loop to the base around the loom to make room for additional loops. Repeat step 2 by adding a second loop to the loom on each peg. Remember to wrap counterclockwise around each peg, moving in a clockwise fashion around the loom. Continue until you have wrapped each peg twice. Do not wrap too tightly. Repeat step 2 by adding a third loop to the loom on each peg. Loosely wrap the end of the yarn around the anchor peg to hold your yarn in place. It may unravel, don't worry. You can rewrap the pegs again. Wrapping the yarn here will make it easier to knit. Grab your hook. Visualize each peg. There should be 3 loops of yarn. Start to the right of your anchor peg. The first loop will be very tight. This is normal. Using your hook, lift the first loop closest to the base of the loom, leaving the other 2 loops in place. Pull the loop over the peg and wrap to the other side. Move in a clockwise fashion around the loom. Repeat this step around the loom until you have reached the anchor peg. Congratulations! You have just completed the first row of your beanie. Push down the remaining 2 loops to the base of the loom. Now, wrap the yarn around each peg to make a third loop. Continue these steps until you have completed 8 to 10 rows of knitting, depending upon the yarn thickness, with less rows for thicker yarn.
Remove the slip knot off the anchor peg. Make a knot with the yarn close to the end and cut. Continue repeating the steps to add rows to your beanie. The beanie will grow longer on the inside of the loom. The longer the beanie, the bigger the hat becomes. When you have reached your desired length and you have 2 remaining loops on each peg, now take the loop closest to the base and lift this loop off the loom. Now you have 1 loop remaining on each peg. Grab your scissors. Cut the end of the yarn roughly a 3-inch tail. Now cut a piece of yarn roughly the size of the loom you are using. More is always better than less. Grab your needle. Thread the piece of yarn you just cut. You are going to now thread the yarn around each of the final loops of your loom. This step will disconnect the beanie from the loom. Start with the first peg to the right of your anchor peg. Hold the loom the same as you did while knitting. Thread the yarn and needle under the last loop, lifting it off the loom. Continue doing this until all the loops are off the loom. When the beanie is off the loom, pull the yarn threads to close the top of the hat. Secure the closure of the beanie by making several knots. Make the knots on the inside of the beanie or tuck them on the inside at the top of the hole when you're done. Congratulations! You have just completed a brave beanie to give to a courageous kid fighting cancer.
Krista, thank you so much. It was so fun to make these beanies using the loom, and we can't wait to see yours too. At this point, you're probably wondering how to get your beanies to us. First, don't forget to sort them by size. You can use a Ziploc bag or a plastic bag, whichever works best for you. Once you've sorted, there are 2 ways that you can send them to the Joy Factory. First, you can drop them off at the Joy Factory. Please make sure you call ahead of time though to make sure that somebody is here to receive them. If dropping them off isn't feasible, we recommend that you gather a few beanies to save on postal charges and send them directly to our Joy Factory. There they will be received by our loving volunteers, and each one will be placed in Jessie's Joy Jars to be given to kids fighting cancer. You are also more than welcome to include a note or a tag with each of your beanies, and we will ensure that the note is with the beanie when we put it into one of Jessie's Joy Jars. Now it's time for Eric to give you a short ending message.
I hope to see your beanies soon here at the Joy Factory, and thank you again for helping us help children never ever give up.